The Comedy Store would like you to know that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are strictly those of the speakers or authors and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by the Comedy Store and its affiliates.
Wheels lived at the top, and then my friend Jason Hartz lived at the bottom, and we would hang at the bottom. Like, he paid decent amount of rent to live there, and it was beautiful. Like, because at the time the store was dying pretty much, so she had to charge rent. Freddie paid rent, and Wheels was supposed to pay rent. But I don't know if I'm kidding.
And was Freddie Richard Pryor's driver?
Freddie was Richard and Mitzi's driver for a while.
Yeah, he was the driver.
Because it was Mitzi's limo they would use.
Oh,
yeah.
So
I remember when she bought that limo.
The maroon.
Yeah, I remember when she bought that.
It was
limo.
so dated. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And you'd have to put like a little rose, or was it a sunflower or some weird kind of flower that you had to put in there.
Yeah.
So like when people that I started with, like Bob Oshak and Freddie Soda, Freddie was good. He knew how to do it. Bob Oshak was like pulling him from out the back. You know, I'm like, what are you doing, Bob? Put real.
Yeah, I remember Bob.
Fucking idiot. I love Oshak.
Yeah.
But Bob, you know how you could put music on in the front?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't play in the back. So he had his dumb country music blasting, and he didn't realize it was in the back too. And he drove Mitzi all the way to La Jolla. And she couldn't go up. Or maybe it wasn't La Jolla. It was somewhere, but it was a distance. And you're out of here.
Oh, that's too funny.
Poor Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
She
It was
was
just,
talented.
she was like the off with your head, you know, kind of thing. The
No,
queen.
He writes for Bill Maher. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's doing fine.
Yeah, he's very good. Were people terrified of her?
Sure.
Well, yeah.
She was a real career
you-
maker or breaker.
You seem to learn the code in that you just yes her, and then she moves on to
and
the
she
next.
liked me. She liked me. That's why she had me babysit Polly. I was a Southern
Sure.
California kid who was riding a skateboard.
Right.
So that was the closest to their world, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody else was from Indiana or whatever the fuck they did.
Right.
So she's like, this kid's a Southern California kid. And that's the only way I would get booked in La Jolla is I would have to drive Peter and Polly down there. And Peter and Polly and I would share one condo.
Okay.
The comics would share another condo. And then
So you did her condo.
No,
upstairs.
there was 3 condos at the time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 19, 2, and then her condo upstairs. And so we'd be in this condo.
Now, you mentioned Indiana. Letterman came from Indiana in his red truck. Everybody knows that part.
Yeah.
And he landed here. And was he here every night hosting?
Yeah, he
or-
was here, and I didn't know him because he was one of the few
so
I didn't know
interesting.
because he was just unapproachable. He just had this vibe like, don't come
He
up to
always
me.
had that.
Yeah.
Was he already like big or whatever?
No, he was just the
Famous?
MC. The one who got out first was, the Tonight Show just put you on another level, right?
Of course.
And George Miller was one of the first
Yes,
guys to
George.
do the
Right,
Tonight
That
Show.
was Mitzi's fave.
So everybody was looking up to George, George at the Tonight Show, and he hadn't done it yet. Jay hadn't done it yet. That's when, ironically, that Johnny didn't like Jay, and
Yeah.
and he wouldn't put Jay on. But George had done the Tonight Show, and one of the few, and Letterman had done it, but he was the MC, and there's still some stock lines that were still, Letterman's lines, that were still.
Would Letterman bring you on? Did he ever bring you on?
No, because I was a open mic comic, but I remember seeing him all the time, just like the opposite of Charlie. When I met Charlie, Charlie and I became
Sweetest guy.
good friends.
Best guy.
Yeah, the great guy.
Yeah.
Real quick, but I could still see Letterman in the front door there. Just he'd always look bothered, like. And then with a sour puss, and you
Yeah.
just, you're a new guy, you don't want to go
Don't talk
to
to me.
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
talk to
yeah.
me. So everybody else was approachable except him, So that,
But him and George Miller were best friends, right?
Totally tight that David paid for all his medical
Yes, he
bills
did.
when
Yeah.
They were good best
when he
buddies,
got sick.
When-
And I like the way Letterman put all his old Comedy Store buddies on the show.
So
Jeff
great.
Altman, Witherspoon, John
Altman.
Witherspoon.
And not only did he do that, but when he put them on
Johnny
and they
Dark.
bombed, he would have them
He got
come
up behind.
on,
Yeah.
but they just wouldn't go out and do the stand. They would come right to
Yeah,
the
they'd just
couch
come to the desk, yeah.
and Letterman would feed them the lines.
Yeah.
And he would feed them the line's really obnoxiously like, okay, oh, you going to the circus, huh? You know, your circus bit or whatever. What's the thing about the circus, eh? Then he go, okay, you know.
Yeah, I remember he used to bust Witherspoon because John, he did that one bit about his girlfriend on a roller coaster and her wig flew off or something. And David goes, that never happened. He goes, quit bringing that stuff up.
That's so funny.
No, I remember Spoon was biting it so hard one night on Letterman that he resorted to taking his wallet out and showing pictures of his wife and kid. Shit.
His son does comedy now.
Oh, does
nice
does
kid,
yeah, he's
really
nice
sweet
kid.
But again, to his credit, he would have them on, you know.
You bring him back.
They
Absolutely.
would all fucking bomb, and then he would, you know, Jimmy and Walker.
Unlike
Altman.
Jay didn't do that.
Unlike totally opposite of Jay.
Yeah.
Totally opposite of Jay. So it was Walker, Spoon, and Altman, and Miller.
And Miller.
He had all those on.
And Johnny Dark.
And Johnny Dark.
The great Johnny Dark.
Well, Johnny didn't do stand-up, so he had Johnny as a character as the world's oldest page.
Yes.
And so
He'd come out of the...
he would come out of the audience and do his stuff. But what a you know, that's when I love Letterman.
Yeah.
When he did that.
You have to give it to him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Gotta give it to
Yeah,
him.
I
you
agree.
know.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, when your friends come on and they bomb and you're still having them on,
That's
just
pretty
to help
cool.
them on.
Yeah, that's pretty
that's
cool.
That's fucking the top to me.
And they were all the Comedy Store guys.
all comedy store
but
guys.
Also, like Leno didn't do that, and Leno didn't get behind comics too much, and it was annoying
No,
because
he
he
was-
did have some close friends.
He was threatened by them.
Funny.
He was
Yeah.
threatened by
It's
funny. And
crazy.
it's crazy, and that's
Like-
when Jay lost me, frankly. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
Were you close with him or no?
No, but I knew him.
Of course.
And
From-
and I had a shot. Actually, I had a shot to do Carson when Carson was there. Then I had a shot to do it when Jay had it. It was
Right.
Jack Cohen. I don't know if you know Jack.
Yeah.
Just the name. I don't
Yeah,
know
it was his
him.
head
He
writer.
was the head writer, yeah.
And he was
Frazier's besties
yeah,
with
he
him.
was lobbying hard for me. To my surprise, I go, really, Jack?
To get on the Tonight Show with Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, I'm going to be on Jay. I'm going to be on Jay. I'm telling him, but you know, he just won't go for it. Okay, whatever.
Weird.
Yeah, that's weird,
But-
man.
Why not help your
Yeah.
peers?
Well,
Like,
and
'cause
then-
And did you
they're
remember
all
at-
your peers.
Yes.
You guys all
Remember
started
Richard
together.
Jennings' memorial?
Funniest guy.
Leno was speaking, and he said, you know, Rich Jenny did the Tonight Show more than any other comic under my reign. And somebody goes, what's that, twice?
Yeah. He was just threatened by comics.
Jenny was a beast.
Yeah,
So
poor guy.
He was
Yeah.
a great
Poor
comic.
thing.
And I got to open for him a lot, Richard Jenny.
I remember
but
him
he
in the
was
main room.
He would write, you'd work with him one night, and 3 nights later, he'd have, you know, another half hour.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
very prolific. Yeah.
He did that this bit about being the ref on like the NFL, a ref in the NFL, where he's just like, you know, when they take that minute, he goes, "What if they just started telling you their problems?" And he would like be laying on the main room.
Yeah. I think
stage,
I
He was a
like,
genius.
remember that.
upside down, going, yeah, and then you know she didn't talk to me that night. It was just so dumb,
Yeah.
but it was so good. He was just so
Yeah.
off the cuff all
So
the
much
time.
material. to
Yeah,
it.
I had no idea he was, you know, in that state of
Yeah.
mind. Though.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well, I
saying,
think
like-
it got progressively worse because
Yeah.
when I worked with him, he was still okay. And then I think it
So
started
you did
coming
it to him?
I did. It
Great.
was, you know,
Yeah, I remember reading
My
about
goodness.
I felt it was my job.
you know, when it progresses, that
Torture.
illness progresses, they say it's like having a bee in your car. That's when it's mild, but then the bee grows.
What do you mean the
You
what
know-
progresses? What
you know,
he
your
had
depression.
a disease? Oh, depression.
So they're saying
Sure,
depression
sure,
is
sure.
like having a bumblebee in your car.
He had the
Okay.
clinical.
You know, like a small bee, and you're going, oh fuck, you know, you're trying to,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
the bee grows
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
grows,
yeah.
and the bee gets this big in your fucking car, and then you just,
Wow.
you can't fucking deal with it anymore.
I don't think I ever heard that kind
Yeah.
of analogy.
Yeah,
For,
I remember.
But I
I learned
like
that from
it.
reading about the Jenny time. That's where I got that from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some issues towards the end. You could see it coming on.
And he would
Obviously.
medicate. And I remember seeing him in Ralph's, and he was just gone. And I applied to be his assistant. This was like the early. I was like trying, so I knew him like
Yeah.
even outside of the store. Some people see me outside of the store and they're like, "You look familiar. Well, where are you from?" Like, because they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, that waitress," you know.
Yeah.
But like back then, at that point, like I had met with him a couple times outside. So I said hi, and I was with Dice's son Max, and I said, "How are you?" And he's like, just staring at me like, who are you? He was so hot.
He got really paranoid too. He thought that people were chasing or after him.
Yeah.
He must have.
Yeah.
Well, he was out of his fucking mind.
When I
But
explained,
it got worse. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
not
The
bad
bee
when I
got
started.
big.
the
yeah.
bee
The
got
bee got big.
But I remember him coming around because I explained who I was, and then he goes, "Oh yeah," and I go, "And this is Max, Dice's son," and he just like pet Max's face, and he was like, "Your father's funny. Your father's great," and that was it. Like, and then a couple days later, he.
Yeah,
But what
crazy.
a comic. I work with him in Reno at the Hilton, which is the world's biggest stage. They actually have a jet on stage behind the curtain.
I feel like I've seen the sign, but I've never gone in there.
Unbelievably big stage.
Yeah, you worked the Laugh Factory, and
Yeah.
I'm out there just standing by the mic, just barely even, I didn't even move. And he's working it. He worked it.
The
back
whole
and
stage.
forth, the whole stage. He was so brilliant.
Well, he wasn't happy with his career. I remember he wanted Seinfeld's career.
Yeah.
And he had,
Yeah.
he had a better career than 90% of the people out
Yeah.
there,
I
but
was
that
gonna
wasn't
say.
good enough. It
No, it
wasn't
really
enough.
wasn't.
He should have been,
But he had a little bit of a Carlin thing going. He was that good.
he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of specials out? Did you put specials out?
no specials.
Why did
You
you
don't have
never
a
put a
special?
special out?
Live from Hawaii. Come on.
Nobody asked me. And I
No,
didn't,
I know, but I mean, even for yourself, because you're so funny.
because
like,
I don't
just
even
to-
pursue it. Since I almost died, right? So I had
which
my,
is insane story. I would
Yeah.
love for you to.
So I had
explain
a sudden cardiac arrest in 2012. And after that, really, I got no more fucking ambition
Got
at
it.
all. I just, my show business goal for the long time has been just not to have a day job. Just let me keep fucking
Just
working.
let me.
Well, remember
work as
when
a
we
comic,
did Hawaii? They had a Laugh Factory there for like
2 seconds,
yeah, and but it was a great gig.
Yeah.
And Jackson knows the island like the back of his hand. He knows
Amazing.
Hawaii, and we rented those little scooters.
How do you know the island?
Because I worked there a lot when that's the only time my race came into my favor. They did a island hopping gig. They booked it out of the Ice House.
Okay.
Right, the Ice House used to be.
And so since I was Hawaiian looking, I'm half Japanese, right? So they booked me there all the time.
Yeah.
So I did that gig all the time.
Dad would take us fishing, and Mom would eat the bait on the way.
Yeah. So
I remember all the
do
jokes.
and I rode the scooter, and I'm
He knew
still
the
on the
whole way. We
scooter.
got
I
the
rode
scooters.
I rode the scooter here tonight.
What I liked was he'd be on
That's
stage.
great.
Yeah, I'm on the scooter. I take my scooter to the LAX with my
Good for you.
unbelievable.
with my fucking suitcase right there, park it right.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Well, what we would do here is he'd be headlining and I'd be emceeing, and he'd go, Frazer, I'll wrap up the show. Go get unlock the scooters, get them ready to go. And so as soon as we were done with the show, we'd run down and take off on the scooters. And
Yeah, it was a lot
he
of
knew
fun.
all the hot spots. And
That's so. So wait, can I go back to the cardiac arrest? Like, where did this happen? This
I was
heart-
at the
were you on the
Temecula
road?
Balloon and Wine Festival. And
Working?
I was with my girlfriend at the time who worked at a country western radio station, and she was there for a gig.
Okay.
And so I had went with her, and it was like a weekend festival, and they had bands and the whole deal there. And I just fucking fell out, and they put me in a helicopter, the whole
they had
deal.
a chopper there ready.
No, they had to call.
They had to get somebody?
As a matter of fact,
Because of where you were. There was-
yeah. The two guys, they had paramedics. The reason I'm alive is because they had paramedics on bicycles right there.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, 2 guys got an award for saving my life.
Really?
There's one guy, what happened was I was with my girlfriend and I wasn't feeling good. The guy came by on a golf cart, this Mexican guy named Rob Rodriguez. And actually there's a story in the internet, if you look it up, Google it on the internet, it's the newspaper article, and a picture of me and that guy who saved me. And,
Oh, wow.
And he got an award. So he pulls over and says, you okay? And so we get in, he goes, you want to ride? We get in, sit next to him. And then this is what he tells me, I don't remember. He goes, I knew he was bad when his head went on my shoulder. And so I guess I just, went out on him. Then they took me out, and then him and my girlfriend at the time started giving me CPR. They called these paramedics on bicycles, who are my friends to this day.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Who say, and then they put me in the helicopter, took me away. I had the same thing that kid who on the football,
Yeah.
DeMar
Hamlin.
Hamlin,
Yeah.
sudden cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got a pacemaker, right?
I got a defibrillator.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
implanted, which gets me on the plane first now.
Nice.
There you go.
I use it to
Sure.
Just pointing.
Yeah, I'm a medical pre-op. Yeah, now I got the iPhone 10 in here. This is my second one.
There you go.
Yeah, the first one, I kind of felt like I know how these women feel who have breast implants. Because the
First one stuck out. You could see it like a mile away. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I go to the beach and I don't have my shirt off, and people walk by, I tell my now girlfriend, I go, look what happens, and people will look at me and they'll whisper, "Did you see that guy? Did you see that guy?" But now
You got the new one though, right?
Yeah, I got a new one that's more aerodynamic.
Yeah, those are
smaller.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So.
And how do you feel now? You feel good?
I feel good, and I felt good then. I don't, but any time it could go. But anyway, since I had that,
Yeah.
it puts everything into perspective. I got no
100%.
I got no fucking ambition. I don't want to be famous. I'm not trying to get famous anymore. You know what I'm saying?
You just want to work.
I just want to work. I just don't want to work a day job.
Yeah.
And now I'm working the cruise ships.
Do you
How's
like
that going? Do you like that?
It's the best gig
Really?
for a non-famous comedian. There's no club in this country that's going to pay you what they pay you. Fly you there, put you up, feed you, and you get to travel.
And you go to great spots.
Great spot. The crowds are great. You
How
work
much
these
material do you
big
have to have?
theaters,
Yeah.
How much material do you need though?
Well, I work on Royal Caribbean, and you just need an hour, half clean and
Does
half.
it have to be all clean or no?
No, half clean and half dirty.
You do
You
two
have to do a
separate
late
shows?
show. That's why.
You have to do some ships. I had canceled a gig because they were doing like I just did a gig last week.
Mm-hmm.
Such an easy gig that you only had to do 20 minutes. Do the same 20 all
No.
week.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a comedy club.
Even I could do that.
Yeah. There's two kinds of ships. There's the big ship where they have a
Okay.
comedy club, and so you do 20 minutes with another guy. There's two comics. Each guy
Okay.
does. So it's a 40-minute show. You can repeat the thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
that's great.
sometimes, like the week before, they change it all around. Like the week, I did it 2 weeks in a row. The first week, you did what they call the Welcome Aboard show, the first night, and that was 20 minutes clean, family,
Right.
squeaky clean.
Yeah.
And then you go to the comedy club the other 6 nights.
Yeah.
But you
weren't
already-
ever really dirty. So.
No.
Oh, well, I got
You
my.
can't, yeah.
I can, I like to say fuck and pussy or whatever, but it's not
pussy.
But I think my stuff is clever. It's not just
Right, exactly.
It's not just
not gratuitous,
It's
yeah.
not suck my dick.
So do these? Did they like you on the ships? They must, right?
Oh, I bet.
Well, I almost got fired for.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. You told me.
No, well, I did get fired off a carnival for weed. That
was for weed.
That was 10 years ago.
They had a dog at the.
They had a
end
dog.
Of the gangplank.
And they didn't find any weed. They just found a pipe that it wasn't even a pipe. It was an ink pen that I had MacGyvered into. Had a residue.
Now
in
that
it.
it's legal, would you still get fired?
Yeah, because if you're coming into an illegal state like South Carolina, because at that
I
time
see.
I had a license, I had a prescription, and they said, "Well, we don't honor those here," so you're fucked.
Wow.
So I got fired from there, and they didn't have vapes then. Now they do,
Right.
and it
Yeah,
didn't have
now-
edibles then either. But how I almost got fired this time on Royal, too many complaints. See, on the ship, it doesn't matter if you kill or it doesn't matter if you kill.
Yeah.
Okay, if you just have a half, there's some guys on there. I go, how the fuck did this guy get the gig?
Right.
It just,
So it doesn't matter how you do, really.
No, the only thing that matters is don't get any complaints.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't
There's
get any
hope for you,
complaints.
Fraser.
Yeah, well, I can do it. Then.
And we'll get,
Right.
Oh, I'll get some complaints.
and what will get you complaints faster than anything. People don't complain because he said dick or shit. They complain if
Religious.
the politics, the religion.
Oh, yeah.
And I was defending immigrants. Now you got all these Trumpers
like,
on there. Like I was doing this bit about that these people hating on people who don't speak English. And I was saying that these good Christians forget that Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself," and he didn't say that in English. He never said one word in English. So,
Right.
So if you can love up on Jesus, how come you can't cut Jesus some slack?
Right,
Who's
right.
named after that dude, right?
Great.
Oh, they didn't fucking like
Good
that.
bit. They didn't like that.
No, anything about defending, and I would do this bit about
So
how
they were like, hey, look, we like to shit on immigrants. This is bullshit.
Now, where did they tell you?
Fire
Did they
this
tell you
guy.
right after the show, or did
Like, how's the
no,
complaint?
they go complain, and then you get a call in your room that these people are complaining.
take
and-
that bit out, or what? Or what
No,
they
they don't even, they wouldn't even tell me what the thing was. I go, what is the complaint?
Yeah,
They were
please tell
saying-
me what the bid
So you're just done.
No, they're saying that you're racist. What? I'm racist. All my shit is anti-racist.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of the show one night, and this woman was telling me, "Oh, we loved your show, but the people in front of us, these Trumpers, they were not liking that at all." And this other woman told me one day, the people I like the show, but the people in front of me, they were disgusted. I go, they didn't like it? No, it's not that they didn't like it. They were disgusted.
With what?
That's different.
Well, whatever I said about immigrants.
Yeah.
But the thing was, she was so happy to tell me.
Yeah, of course.
She was talking about herself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I got it. I go, oh, damn. She kept saying it. I go, I think that you're kind of talking about you, right? Because she was with her husband, and her husband would just go, wouldn't say anything. But she was just so happy to tell me.
Oh, yeah.
How these people were
I don't know how you
disgusted.
do it.
Wow.
And so anyway, one time sometimes they send you 2 weeks at a time on the cruise ship. So when I was getting fired, they said, well, we're going to take one of those weeks back and just see if there's any complaints, and then we'll take it from there. So I cut out all the race material.
Anything,
Actually, I did it one time and got a complaint. I was doing this thing about Mexican food, about how I go, white people love Mexican food, right? And the white people go, yeah. I go, yeah, they just don't like Mexicans, right? They love the taco, but hate on Paco.
Yeah.
And so this Mexican fucking dumbass Mexican lady, the only one who complains, well, he said they hate Mexican, they hate Paco, and
oh no,
she didn't even hear
she didn't hear it.
That's what I'm saying. People,
they're so stupid. They just hear what they want to hear, and that's all they hear.
but they always take the audience's side, right? On those ships.
Yeah, they always
they
have
have
to
to.
take the audience's side.
it's their money they're taking.
And then
To
some
pay
other
'em.
people complained about this other guy was living. They were all drunk. And I do this gay material, which is all pro-gay.
Right.
All pro-gay. I do this bit about, I say that I'm not gay personally, but if I was, there wouldn't be a closet big enough to hold me, right? Because I wouldn't let anybody tell me who to love. And, and life's way too short to be pretending something. I said, if I was gay, I would have a T-shirt that said I'm gay, and if you don't like it, you can suck my dick.
Right.
On the back and say, because I do like that, And so this guy was complaining, he said the gays, I go, you're not listening.
Said suck a
Yeah,
dick.
listen, yeah.
I
But
like
fortunately, when he complained, the cruise directors, who are all gay,
that. Right.
they loved the bit. And
Yeah.
they knew
for
what
you.
I was saying, and they had to hear, because even the cruise director told me, when you said, are there any gay people here? He said, I was going, oh no, what's going to come out now?
Yeah.
Because they thought it was going to be anti-gay thing.
Sure. And I bet you they have to deal with that. And probably that's more acceptable than you saying something positive.
Yeah, so they love,
or they just don't hear it, right?
Yeah, so the cruise director, and I ran it by him. I was doing this bit about, part of it was about all the gay people I know are funny and talented and, great sense of style and fashion. I said, I think I would sign up if it wasn't for the ass fucking and the dick sucking.
Right.
So I said, can I do that? Can I say that? He goes, you got to say that. You must say that.
You better say that, bitch.
Or you're fired.
Yeah. So I said, okay, great. But so to answer your question, the only thing that will get you fired is some political stuff.
Sure.
Not saying fuck or shit or poo poo or,
I only did a few cruise ships, but I did like Kid Rocks. And at first I was sweating. I was like, oh my God, I'm
That's gotta
filthy.
be different though, right?
What do I do? And they were like, oh, just do what you do. I'm like, yeah, but it's a cruise ship, because I had all this stuff in mind, like can't say this, can't say that. And then I realized I was the only comic on the ship. And then Kid Rock was like, oh no, just say whatever the fuck you want. Like, I hired you because I saw you on
Kid
the
Rock.
Dirty Show. So, but only difference was I had to do 3 shows, 45 minutes, all different.
All different. Wow.
See,
It was
That's
wild.
a lot.
That was
See,
hard,
how did you
but it was
do that?
great. I did a lot of crowd work.
Crowd work. Yeah.
See, that's what they do on Carnival.
That was hard.
They have those guys doing
yeah.
fucking 10 shows or something, a lot of different shows. And those people don't have that many. I don't know anybody who has 5 different half hours.
It's not. You just
Except Rich Jenny.
You switch up lines.
Yeah, you don't have that.
You'll play with like.
Yeah, you do-
I was doing old shit, like shit that I did the first week I started.
You get a joke book and do it. You just are killing. The name of the game is killing the time. Just do
killing the time. The people though were so fucked up that it was easy to do crowd work.
Oh yeah.
So a certain time, you just.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the one time it was a costume party. So I just roasted the entire room, and I was at 35 minutes. And I was like, oh. So I just had to do a little bit of
10 minutes of
semi-material.
Just recently I did this as a first time they wanted me to do 2 different family shows. And I said, I don't have 2 different family shows.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't have one.
And how much time is that?
1:30. So I said, look, I got an hour.
Frazier's taking notes.
I'm getting ready to go.
I got an hour, and so, and half of it's clean and half is not. And they said, well, can you do 25 and maybe 25?
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, let me try that. So I went out and did the 25. Then I realized I had all kinds of material left. I could have.
Right.
So it's like Money in the Bank. You still got, okay, it's
But
not a
now
problem.
you have that for the
Now
next
I have
time you
that.
do
Now
it.
I know
Yeah.
that. And that's what I like about the cruise ship. Actually, you learn how to become a better comedian because you're challenged. These other clubs, there's no challenge. They tell you do what you do. But
Just
there,
do
you got to
you do.
switch up and do some shit you're not comfortable doing. And,
Yeah.
I
and
have a question.
Oh, shit. That's our producer, John. You didn't
Hi.
get to meet him. That's Jack.
Is it weird being on a cruise ship, doing your material, and then having to be on the ship with these, like seeing these people?
Oh, yeah,
throughout the
that's-
Oh,
day?
it's the
Yeah.
worst. For
That's
me.
got to be rough.
Well, yeah, that's because you're gross. But
well, yes and no. Like last week, I did 14 shows, and my record was 12 wins, 0 losses, two draws.
Right,
You had a couple
okay,
draws.
okay.
So.
Couple draws, right? And the first night, I thought this one show sucked, right? And I'm in the elevator. This woman comes. Oh, man, we saw you at the comedian. The show was great. And I was like, really? What show did you see? Oh, the one that was the one I thought sucked.
Right.
So they don't know.
Right.
You know,
Only we know.
Only we know because they don't have anything to compare it to. But, there's a famous anecdote. I don't know if you heard this about, Binder told me this a long time ago, but it's a story about the comics in Vegas or something. He gets a call in his room and the woman's telling him, I saw your acting. You're like fucking Pryor and Carlin and Lenny. I would come over and suck your dick, blah, blah, and do all these sexual things to you. And the comic's response was, oh, what show did you see? First show or the second show? Because you never know.
Yeah,
People, I
yeah.
saw the show because
I want to know how to react.
yeah. So there's some shows this last week. I mean, I fucking killed. Right. So if somebody saw that show, they think I'm a fucking
God.
Where
Yeah.
the fuck? Where has this guy been? But there was a couple other shows that they go, I fucking saw your show, pal.
Yeah.
So you don't know. So you have to ask, well, what show did you see to know?
Yep.
But they have nothing to compare it to. But you see them in the dining room or whatever. That's what they call cruise ship famous when when you're. But like they say, if you bomb, you got to stay in your room.
Yeah.
It was
You don't eat
hard.
for 3 days.
And I stay in my room anyway. Even when I work in Vegas, I'm like Howard Hughes. I just stay holed up in my room.
Kind of do too. Not all the time. Like I'll go way off the strip in Vegas. But when I was on the cruise ships, I liked hiding in the room. Especially because they're all wasted.
Yeah, I only go out of the room to work out, eat, and do the show. And then I only get off the ship to rent a scooter.
Right.
And
Do you ever do that? Do you sightsee when you go?
yeah, I just took Finest. I was in Roatan, Honduras with Finest and his son, and I made him rent a scooter, and the three of us went around, and his sons broke down, and he had to ride on the back of mine. Yeah, so that's what I do, ride the scooter.
You mentioned,
So funny.
do they know
What,
the
is he
audience?
working cruise ships?
Finest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him the other day. You
Yeah, he's
said
a headliner.
Amazing.
there.
The audience doesn't always know if it's good or bad. I asked the room manager at Harrah's about that, and he said, you know what? A show can be the best show ever, and when people are selling merch out front, people just walk right by him. Nobody buys a thing. And then he says some nights it's the worst show ever.
And they buy it
The
all.
audience doesn't laugh at all, and they buy all the shit on the
Lined
way
up.
out.
Is that because they feel bad? They want him to get
No,
a better
no,
job?
Or if they
No,
just
it's
don't
just-
know the...
It's just one of those phenomena that, you think, oh, I just killed. I'm going to sell all kinds of fucking
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
They're going to love me.
Yeah, nothing. And then I've had sets where I would say at the end, folks, I have the nerve to tell you I'm going to be selling my CD. So you can buy it and not get it all over again in the privacy of your own home.
Right.
And then they buy
love it.
They love a bunch. They.
So
buy
you
all
have
that
a
stuff.
CD.
I did. Now CDs are fucking obsolete.
Yeah,
so.
but you put them online. Like, that you can get
I don't
money.
even do any of that shit. I could sell merch.
I
on,
love it. I
I
love that you don't. I think it's great.
I could sell merch
It's
on
like,
Royal,
yeah.
but I'm not doing that. Just they pay you enough
Sure.
on the ship. I don't
you
need to
get-
fucking. I don't need to stand
Yeah.
there and.
So how
It's so
often-
funny how there's some comics on the ship that crack me up that stand out there by the door, to get all the accolades and shake the hands.
Yeah.
Not me. As soon
You're
as I
gone.
say goodnight, I'm fucking. I'm
Bye,
out the back door.
Get the scooters ready.
Yeah. My thing is I'm trying to get out of the room before the crowds get,
Sure.
I'm just out. I'm the first one out. So and when I see these guys posting pictures of, the crowd.
You're like,
The worst is like at Laugh Factory.
you're like
where
COVID, bitch.
you had a rough set at the Laugh Factory and you're the last guy on and you run out and they're coming down the stairs and you're trapped.
Yeah.
You just look. Oh, shit.
Yeah. No,
You
I don't.
pretend you're a
Is there a-
bartender.
Where's the side door?
Yeah, I don't socialize at all. I just get off the fucker.
Yeah, it gets like that. It was. Somebody said that to me a long time ago. We were doing La Jolla. Maybe I was working with Sebastian, and I think I was hosting. I was brand new, because I started late, whatever. So we're in La Jolla, and it was the Comedy Store's 35th anniversary. So I'm handing out my card, and Sebastian and Favorman was featuring, and obviously Sebastian was headlining, and I'm handing out my card. Thank you for coming. Thank you for. And they both walked by and went, "Oh boy!" I was like, I feel like such a dick.
Yeah.
But I did that for a long time, like just trying to, get people to know who I
It doesn't
am.
hurt to.
Yeah, actually, it's a good thing
In
to
Vegas, it
promote
was-
yourself. But again, like I said, I got no ambition, so I'm not
Yeah.
promoting
A lot of people
shit.
make more than they do for the week.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
when they sell stuff, yeah.
no. When I was
yeah.
selling my CDs, it was a nice cash. It was all cash, so
Sure.
you didn't have a lot of cash in your hand.
Feel
The other
better,
thing
yeah.
about Vegas, though, like I won't mention the name, but I was working with a guy at Harrah's,
Mm-hmm.
and before our first show, we're walking down there. He goes, "Let me stop at the sports book for a minute."
Did he have a
He
ray
lost
gun?
his entire check
I
and
know.
more before we even done one show.
I've done that.
And those guys,
I mean, I've worked with that person.
those guys get rebooked. That's who they used
Yes.
to book in casinos.
Because they know they put the money back in.
The guy that I
Yeah.
just worked with on the ship last week, that's what he did. But you know what? He was telling me that he goes, "Yeah, I took my wife and my daughter on a cruise for free." I go, "Really? You got a free cruise?" He goes, "Yeah, because I'm a gambler. If you're a gambler, they let you come on for free." And like at the Riv, I remember at the Riv, they would pay you on Wednesday,
Yep.
and those gamblers, they didn't have any
Like
money.
this.
They didn't have any money by Friday.
Yeah.
So they never had to pay those guys. So there's a few guys that come to mind that would get there
They
that
do
gig
that,
all the time
100%.
because they never had to pay them. Yeah.
It's insane. I don't know how people do that, but I have seen it live. Like, but when I would promote, like in Vegas, this is where I stopped doing it. So I would give out my card, and when they take the trash out, they have those big giant clear bags. I saw my face lined on the bottom of the bags from people just throwing my cards
yeah.
out.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's a waste of fucking money.
Yeah.
I'm killing myself trying to get these
exactly.
stupid cards up.
That's funny that
It
you
was
saw
so
that.
embarrassing because the guy went like this, and I just saw like 6 of my
no,
cards.
yeah.
I was like, oh man.
Well, that was a good that you saw that. He fucking woke you up,
It
right?
broke my heart.
Yeah, it was your wake up
I worked
call.
with a guy not too long ago that we all know, big name, and we worked at a big casino. And he says, as soon as we got to the casino, he goes right to the slots, and he starts playing, and he won't leave.
I know who you're talking
Won't
about.
leave the spot, And then so it comes to be it's showtime, and they had to send down security to get him off the slots. Come on, you got to go do the show. Hold on, just one more second, just one more.
Ooh,
And then as soon as the show's over, he's right back to the slots.
that's so.
Well, he
dangerous.
switched addictions,
Yeah, that's
right.
He was on coke and other shit before that. Then this is a worse
This is his
addiction.
new thing. yeah.
That's what people do. They
Yeah, they switch addictions.
supplement one for another.
That's why I had heard
Substitute.
I heard Louis talking about this on I think Howard Stern or something. I didn't know Louis was a gambling addict.
Oh, I did.
He was a big gambler.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, he told this story about him.
Louis, Norm Macdonald. Oh,
Yeah,
a lot
Norm
of them.
Macdonald.
Yeah.
Norm.
But Louis told this story about how he went to this Commerce Casino, right, and lost 70 grand, and then he drove to Vegas that night
Yeah.
to gamble again and to try to win it back. And then he eventually, I guess he said he did win it back, but and it was like 3 a.m. He's like 3 a.m. I'm driving to Vegas, going, I'm going to go over here and fucking gamble and try to get, man, you got to,
People do it.
I've been addicted to, drugs and sex, but I ain't driving that far to get some pussy or get high.
You're like, there's got to be some local
Yeah,
buzz.
fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. When he said that, I go, man, he must have been fucking addicted to. He goes, I
Yeah.
got there about 3 a.m.
It's dangerous, but
Yeah. So that was his addiction.
When is your next cruise? When do you go back out?
Next Saturday.
Ooh. So it's like a Saturday to Saturday, or
Yeah, 7 days.
Where are you going?
7?
It's so funny that I don't even get off the ship anymore. And sometimes, like last week, I didn't even know where I was.
Yeah.
Because, they go to each port. I don't get off.
Yeah.
And I remember asking a couple, hey, where are we today? Anyway. Yeah. But my next cruise is going to be the same ship I just got off of, the Comedy Club ship. So that's going to be a piece of cake. We just do 20 minutes a night.
And it looks like a comedy club?
No, it's real small. It only holds like 125 people.
Okay.
And there's 6,000 people on the ship. So, there's a new crowd, and you got to have reservations to come in. So, and they're pretty good. My next cruise after that, which I just did this ship last month, is in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Ooh.
Nobody speaks English. Like 90% of the fucking ship speaks, Spanish. And so they don't have a comedy club. Those non-comedy club ship, you work in the theater, the big theater, right? But since they all don't speak English, they, you got this big, like 1,500 seat theater with fucking 50 people sitting there, all spread out, Yeah. And then when some people come in with their kids and they walk out the first 5 minutes because, they go, what the fuck is it? We don't understand it.
Yeah.
No, they need a juggler and a magician, which they have on the ship, but, they should be. So but that ship is great. I like that ship because you only do 2 shows. Do show the first night of the gig and the last night. The other 5 days, you're just cruising, doing
and eating free and
free,
chill.
smoking my vape, chilling. There's a different port.
You can smoke your vape, no problem.
Yeah. I wouldn't go without the vape.
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave town.
Well, I thought of a quick gambling thing. Norm Macdonald, I went out to dinner with him one time, and he says he was bragging to me the whole time. Hey, I stopped gambling. Went to Gamblers Anonymous.
Wow.
'Cause he had some real problems.
Yeah.
And he goes, hundreds of thousands of dollars he was losing. He goes, but I'm good now. I'm really proud of myself. I went there, the whole thing. Good, Norm. That's really good. So we go to leave. We're down at the valet. All of a sudden, all the valets have bets with him. $100 here, $200 here. I go, hey, I thought you said you quit.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but these are just some weekend bets.
Yeah.
There's nothing to these.
This is different.
Yeah, I heard him on some podcast talking about how he threw, like, I don't know, it was 25 grand or 50 grand cash into the ocean just to, to stop. He goes, I knew I was going to lose it, so I just threw it away.
Oh, wow.
That's like when, you're a drug addict and you flush all your dope down the toilet. They go, fuck it now.
Yeah.
It gives me,
Then you're in the sewer trying to get it out.
It gives me the emphasis to quit because I flushed it down all over. So he just threw the money in the ocean,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how bad he was.
I would have dove in behind him.
Yeah, I would have been right behind him.
I got you, Norm. I'll get it back for you.
But that gambling's a bad addiction.
It's scary. I've seen, Dice had it bad.
Yeah, you lose everything. That's what I know. Remember Gladys Knight, who lived in Vegas, was a gambling addict, and they had to ask her to leave the. There were some people like Mitchell Walters.
Oh, Mitchell. Oh,
well, Mitchell, I remember he had
bad.
his picture on the wall that he was banned at different places, and they really monitored that. Well, you would not. You would think that you could just sneak in there without your hat
now with
on.
face recognition.
He owed everybody money.
They come and find you and kick you out.
Were you close to him?
Mitchell? Mm-hmm. But we were really good friends, and I love Mitchell. We had.
Now was he the doorman for a long time?
No, Mitchell was never the doorman. He was one of Mitzi's
Who am I thinking
favorite. He got Dice in here. He saw Dice in Brooklyn, and
Who was Letterman's buddy that played goalie for the Kings part time?
That was Harris.
Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Harris was the doorman.
Yeah, he was.
The rude guy. They would come and ask him, "Is the rude guy here?"
He would literally seat people with a cigar and just be like, "Sit here, don't." And then they try to move. Don't move the seat, And then bathrooms over there.
Yeah, he was real curt and rude.
It was so funny, and scary.
And he was Letterman's
I was
buddy.
like, "Do you have to have the cigar?"
Didn't he play? He played like
backup goalie.
He was
for
the practice goalie.
Practice goalie. I'm sorry, not backup.
He was good friends with Gretzky.
Yeah,
Right.
And I think
Gretzky came here a lot.
Yeah, and I think he
Did
still
he?
is.
Back in the day?
Yeah. He was Harris's friend.
I waited on him a ton.
No,
A lot of hockey
Harris
players.
knew Gretzky and Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah.
That was big fans, and they would come and he would come
In
to
fact,
see them.
my nephew was playing hockey, and Gretzky brought in Harris. He gave him the Harris, but it was all old Gretzky sticks.
Yeah, Harry
gave
had
him to
all
Sean.
that.
Wow.
I gave
All
him to my
that. He
nephew.
had all that stuff. Yeah.
So Sean has it. He doesn't play hockey anymore, but
That's good.
Yeah, but Mitchell,
though.
party boy.
party boy.
Party. That was his thing. Party. That was his thing. And
He was funny.
He was really tight with Mitzi. He would, in Mitzi's inner circle, that's what Mooney used to call the doll babies.
Yeah, yeah.
The doll baby. Homie, we're not part of the doll babies, homie.
Homie, every
It's a
time
small world, homie.
Like Mitzi
that
would
small.
say something snarky to him, he'd go, I remember when you were in the cover booth, bitch. He would say it.
Well, they
Mitzi
had
would
a
just,
weird relationship.
They had a funny relationship.
They had
It
a
was
weird
funny.
relationship that she had a lot of respect for Paul
Yeah.
because of Pryor. He was the link to Pryor.
Yeah.
And so you got to kiss Paul's ass if he brings Pryor,
Yeah.
brings Pryor, So that, she kind of liked him and didn't like him at the same time.
Sure.
And
They had
and
a
vice versa,
love-hatey. Yeah.
too. I remember he always used to tell me that, she's afraid of Marcia Warfield.
Yeah.
Homie, she's afraid of Marcia. I go, why is she? She thinks Marcia's going to fucking kick her ass. So, and I told Marcia that. He goes, really?
Marcia's so sweet.
I don't know, she's afraid of me. I go, according to Mooney, I don't know. That's what Mooney used to say all the time.
And did Marcia get that the TV night court show?
She didn't.
While she was here at the store. I mean,
At the
I thought
store?
you mean the new one. I thought you meant the new
No,
one.
I don't know
Sorry.
because she did have a problem with Mitzi. I remember that because
She just, what I read about her, and again, I don't know her super well, but like she's written stuff and people have asked her about the Comedy Store. She didn't like wait in late night. Like they had to wait late night. It was almost like,
yeah. She got put on last. She
Yeah.
never had the time spot. Mooney would go on last.
but there was somebody else that she was always waiting with, and she goes, I didn't stick around, and they did, and they moved up.
But that's
eventually, but
how
it was
Shirley
hard.
Hemphill got the spot on that What's Happening. She was on like after midnight where I remember that there was nobody in the audience. They're like, 5 people. That's
That's
one
the
of those
old school Hollywood stories.
Yeah, that's an old school. The lesson is you never know who's out there.
Exactly.
Give it your best because there could be 5 people out there and 3 of them could be fucking executives. You know what I'm saying? You just never know.
That's what Jimmy. No, Fred. Who was the weatherman? Fred.
Fritz Coleman.
Fritzy was here one night. Same thing you said. There were like nobody in the crowd. There were 5 people or something, and it was the NBC News crew. They'd stopped in to have a drink on Sunday night.
Wow.
And he had done a thing. He was in the Navy, and they had him do some weather stuff on the ship.
Oh, that's
He
funny.
would do the announcements over the thing. It's going to be whatchamacallit today. So he knew a tiny little bit about weather, and that was in his bit that night. He was doing the bit about the weather. And I was on the boat and blah, blah, blah. So then afterwards, the news director came up to him in the hallway here at Comedy Store, and he goes, hey, you ever done TV weather?
Wow.
And he goes, no, I never have. He goes, well, we'd like to hire you. And,
Wow.
And they hired him, and he did it for like 40 years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Fritz as a comic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
when he.
Yeah.
Nicest man.
Good
I remember
comic.
He
when
did a lot of benefits here when I was waiting tables.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
he was a good guy.
Yeah,
great guy.
charitable
Yeah, great
stuff.
guy.
But back to the cruise ship thing is that it's not even show business really. Like there's no, it's not a career move. There's nobody on that ship's going to put you in something or you're going to get discovered
Right.
on the ship. I say that ship gig is the closest thing that a comedian has to a retirement program.
Yeah.
That's it. That's our
Because we don't
retirement.
really have one, people.
Yeah, there's
So,
no fucking union, no
Figure it
medical.
out. Yep.
You just got to fend for yourself.
Yep.
And so where else can an old comic go? And that's the only place that older comics have an advantage over a young comic because the young comic don't have the time. They can't do the.
Sure.
If they did, they would hire younger.
Mm-hmm.
They would skew young, but they just can't. They don't have the time.
Yeah, and they haven't put the road work in.
Yeah, they don't have
and
it.
the years of.
And
Do you still enjoy yourself when you go out there?
Aw. I don't like that.
Well, you know why I like that cruise gig too? It's so funny too. I just worked with this guy. I won't say his name, but he had a club in Temecula. Oh. Yeah, the guy was a club owner. And I worked there. Frazier helped me get in that club.
Okay.
And I fucking kicked ass in that fucking club. But the guy didn't like me for whatever reason.
Oh.
And wouldn't rebook me and wouldn't return my call. And then I didn't mind that, different strokes. But then I heard through another comic that he was saying that the feature act who sucked was funnier than me. And like, mother, what? You know, just if you don't want to book me, fine. Don't be fucking saying shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I would always say about these cruise ship gigs, the reason I like it the most is I don't have to fucking kiss ass at some guy who has a strip mall club for fucking low money, you know. And so last week I was working with that guy, his club closed.
Who wouldn't book you.
Yeah, now he's on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
You know.
And now he's kissing your ass.
And I was debating whether I was going to bring that up, you know, go look at, you know, because he was sending me a message, go, hey, I'm looking forward to working with you. And I was going to write him, well, hey, as I recall. But I didn't say shit about it.
Good for you, yeah.
I just let it fucking go. And he, you know.
Turns into stress and you don't need it on your little
I guess he
ticker.
forgot about it because he's probably used to shitting on everybody who came in there, you know, so he didn't remember. So I just let it go. And it turned out to be a good week. But again, that's what I like about the fucking gig. Don't have to kiss
deal with
ass.
those guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Like I was working in Vegas, Harry's Club, and there was a kid who was the MC, had been doing comedy, I don't know, fucking a couple weeks or whatever, had nothing to offer. He opens a club in Tucson or Phoenix or whatever, so I call this guy. He wants me to send him a tape.
No.
But, really? Dude, really? Send you a tape? I've been in the business fucking a week.
That's the hardest thing. 'Cause you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, so on the cruise ship, I don't have to deal with any of that. And for low, I'm going to kiss your ass for low money.
Yeah.
All right?
I think I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
From Temecula.
Yeah.
And he had me do a golf tournament with him. And I had to do this golf tournament. And so it's a long tournament. And by the time everyone wanted to go home, nobody wanted to hear a show. It's in the afternoon. People are pissed. So he goes, I'm just going to give you a quick intro and you do your bit. All right, so everybody's there. This guy starts talking. He didn't have any jokes at that point in his life and just kept talking and talking, just stupid shit about golf and no real jokes. He went on and on, slowly walking the entire crowd. By the time I got up there were 2 people left in the room.
Did he bring you up?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they do.
And then what can you do?
Yeah.
That sucks.
So that's why I like that gig the most.
Yeah.
No kissing ass of these strip mall club owners who are paying you shit. You got to fly yourself there. I remember the last time I tried to get a gig somewhere, you know, the only clubs I worked is Harry, you know, in Vegas. But I remember this club in Tucson. I asked the guy, oh, yeah, I'd love to have you here. I think it was like $800 flat, you know.
Oh.
You got to fly yourself there. I don't think so.
That's good. Yeah.
Really, it's that bad out there? Is that what they're paying out there nowadays? Well, no. And when in the 80s, when I was headlining and doing Arsenio, the scale was 2,000. You know, 25 if they liked you, and if they really liked you, they paid for your flight, and sometimes they did.
Yeah.
But at least you got $2,000. Then it went to 15. And then it went to 12.
Yeah. Caponera says that best. He says, comedy's the only business where the money goes down.
Down over the fucking year. It is
Bobby
incredible.
Slayton's got the line, 1,000 shows for $1,000.
Yeah, that's what they would love to have you
Dollar
do.
store comics.
And that's how the comedy club business got ruined.
Yeah.
Because they brought these guys in to headline for $700 that, you know, weren't headliners.
No.
And you could get away with that for about 2 or 3 weeks, and people go, I'm not going back there. That fucking sucks,
Yeah.
you know?
Even now with if you have the followers, but you don't have, you know, you never worked at the craft. So people are like, oh, I'll come see him. Like I have my friend's daughter paid, I want to say $125 to see one of these influencers. They came out on stage. They said hi. They said a few of the stock lines they say, and that was it. Like 10 minutes.
Well, that's all they had.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody was just
And they're like,
telling
oh,
me
but
that,
we
yeah.
sold tickets. So I was like,
Yeah, that's all that
That's
matters.
more and more prevalent, though.
See, that's what I was saying about Harry that I like about Harry. It don't matter how many Twitter followers. I'm not even on fucking Twitter,
yeah.
right? You know,
Well, for Vegas, it's like the club does the business.
The
because that's what it
business,
used to be. The
yeah.
club.
The club is the
you
draw.
trusted
And Harry
the
knows
club.
comics.
You trusted that the club would put on good comics.
Yeah.
Well, the
Which
club
is
is
what
the draw.
Harry
Yeah,
tries to
yeah.
do,
The club
yeah.
is the draw. And that's what I was telling Harry one day when we were talking about who draw. I go, Harry, you know, because he found out that just because you have a Netflix special, that don't mean you're
No,
a
it
fucking
doesn't
draw.
mean shit.
You know, how I know you're famous is if my dad has heard of you. You know, because he ain't heard of nobody. But if my dad's heard of you, you know, you must.
right.
My buddy
You
managed.
ask him if he knows me?
Yeah.
My buddy managed a bunch of big comics. Road manager promoted them, And he told me one day some names of people who have you would think would have a huge draw. They're big TV stars, no draw at all. He goes, this guy doesn't have a draw. This guy, yeah. I'm
Sure.
like, what? He goes, no, this.
Hard to sell a ticket these days.
And then people
Hard.
you didn't think would have a draw did.
And that's what I was telling Harry. I go, we're talking about who's a draw and who's not. And I was telling him, we're talking about booking me at that time. I go, look, Harry, I know I'm not a draw. Right. All I got is a good act. I'm going to go in there, kick ass, but I know I'm not a draw. But who is? I go, I know you're finding out, because he was finding out, because by booking, he had booked a few people in a row and lost money because he thought they were a draw.
Sure.
They had a special or
Yep,
something.
yep.
And then I go, now you're finding out that don't mean shit. And I go, the handful of people out there who are legitimate draw, they ain't working your fucking club.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that money.
They're working theaters
Yeah.
Yeah.
and shit. So, there you go. And he had to, cop to that. So that's why he booked me.
That's why he booked me.
Because he knows I do a good job at it,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I booked you, I know if I booked you or you, I know I'm going to get a good show.
Sure.
I know I'm going to get a professional who knows how to work a room, who does, stand up, is funny. It's not going to be some bullshit like,
Yeah, but
in and
again,
out.
if you're not a draw, but like La Jolla, I worked La Jolla for 30 years. It was always sold out.
Yeah.
That
Just a
sells
club.
itself out.
That sells itself out,
a club
It
that
used
sells
to.
out.
It doesn't as much anymore.
No.
Yeah. I know
That's
you
the
guys,
hard part.
You guys know this because you've all played these rooms. I went on tour with Russ Peters
Sure.
up in Canada, and he's like, the prime minister.
Yeah.
And he probably should be the prime minister. Anyway, he was playing huge places, now he's playing even bigger places. He's playing
Theaters.
hockey arenas.
Yeah.
We were playing like 3,000 seaters, 3,500. And I was terrified because I hadn't played at any big rooms. And then I realized this is easier than a little club.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
was.
more people. Yeah.
More energy, more people, and your material lasts longer.
Yeah.
And then it became easy to do those.
Yeah.
Because you got to wait for them to stop laughing. It's so loud.
You just go slower. Yeah, the timing, and that's what I like about the ship. You work these really nice theaters, big theaters. It's better than some fucking strip club. And those
Right.
cruise ship rooms are beautiful theater.
Oh, yeah.
What do they usually hold?
1,000 to 15. So what's the main room home like? 354.
With the fire marshal, I think it's like 287.
Okay,
Without,
so it's 5 times bigger
Yeah.
than the fucking main room.
yeah, when we had Jackie Mason in there, we had it up to 405.
Did you
Yeah.
see the Jackie? Obviously, you did.
I waited tables for
How
that.
good was
sure.
he?
Excellent.
He's great.
Excellent.
right?
We
He's
had
great.
Carlin too for 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember
Me?
Carlin being here.
Wow.
Okay.
You're done?
You don't remember
wrap it up?
Carlin being here?
No, I don't.
He
Must have
did.
been out of town or something.
He did like 10 days. He did work out.
Yeah.
It was great. It was the late 90s, maybe even early 2000s.
Now, I remember one of the first acts she brought into the main room and paid, and that was David Fry. You know who David Fry is?
Yeah. Didn't Smothers Brothers play there? Everyone.
Smothers Brothers came back too when I was waiting tables.
I don't remember the Smothers Brothers, but David Fry was on the Smothers Brothers. David Fry was an impressionist in the 60s, and he did LBJ and Nixon.
Okay.
and
You
Pat
can look him up
Paulson.
on YouTube, but and I was new. And watching that was a cautionary tale for a young comic. Because what happened was he was drunk out of his mind on
shit.
stage, and he was so angry and bitter. And he would do an impression, then he would stop, and then he would drag on Rich Little. This fucker stole my act. Fucking guys in Vegas making all the money, not fucking here, and
Now Rich Little's at Harry's. I saw him last week, and every
great.
single person he does is dead.
dead. I hate to say it, but
Which is sad.
I only lasted 10 minutes watching him.
It's tough to watch.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to watch
comic-
because he's got all his video clips from the old days,
It's
and
like,
he's got
look what I used to be.
he's got his hair dyed jet black, and
Crew is now leaving. We have to wrap
That's
it up.
sad. Oh, that's Sam leaving.
Okay, we wrapped up or what?
No, wait. So what? Where can they find you? What is your hand?
the middle of
social
the
media,
ocean.
In the middle of the ocean.
No, you can't find me anywhere.
Jackson's
Right.
online. Very funny. Writes stuff all the time online, Facebook and stuff like
Yeah, you
that.
can find me where old people are.
Frage, what about
Facebook.
you?
Well, guys, this is the first time I've ever done this. I taped a Fallon set that
Woohoo!
I'm sending in. I didn't do the show.
We're gonna get you
I
on
sent
there.
it in there, and I'm excited about it. I think it came out really good. 4.5 minutes. We'll see.
You should You should definitely
Wow, thank you. I'd love to get it. Obviously, we'll
give
see.
it to him, Jimmy. Stop fooling around.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And I'm taping a half hour. Am I saying this, John?
Oh.
It's not on the website yet.
I think you could say it.
All right, thank you. I'll say it, and if it gets changed, it gets changed. But I'm filming a half hour in the
Great.
original
Cool.
room on March 26th.
Say the right date.
You're right. March 26th is a Sunday. We're doing 2 shows, I believe 8 and 10, 7:30 and 9:30,
Yeah, we'll
8 and
figure
10.
that
Let's
out.
do 8 and 10.
And you are doing amazing comedy right now. You were
Thank
just so
you.
awesome. Every time I see you, and she's just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
As a matter
Amazing.
of fact, my girlfriend is a fan of yours.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
The-
love
the
it.
fans love
Yeah,
you.
I was telling her, I'm going to do this podcast with Eleanor. And she knew who you. Oh, but she's so real. That's what she said.
Oh, I love her.
She's so real, and
Thank
she
you.
has such a good vibe.
You're killing it.
Yeah, you're killing it.
I'm trying, man.
you
It's so
are.
funny when I saw you. I didn't know you were. You know, when I realized you were doing comedy,
What?
when I saw you at Dangerfields with Dice.
Oh,
I was living in New York in 2001 to 2006, right?
That's right.
And you came in with Dice, and I was like, what the fuck is Eleanor doing here?
Like, wait, do they need waitresses over here? Like,
You know, and then you
everybody
were
does
Dice,
that.
and then I put, they must be dating her.
Were we dating at that time? No, because if
was
I was doing
2001.
stand-up, no. 2001 we were dating.
Yeah.
I didn't start stand-up till 2007.
Yeah, so it was in the early, but when you were there, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
When do
no,
we
I was
work
just
at-
making bad decisions.
When we worked with Dice at the Luxor.
Oh, that was, I didn't do the Luxor. We
didn't
were
with the
dating.
kids?
I was dating him.
Oh, you were.
I wasn't doing stand-up yet. Not until after Freddie passed. 2007. Yes. Well, we got to go.
we gotta
That's
go.
what he's saying.
wrap.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
Jackson, great to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
Eleanor, great to see you.